Rubber Boots reacts. Yeah, just the facts, Jack. That's what I'm talking about on this track. I play the sax, and I'll do it to the max. Rubber Boots reacts. What?
Here we go.
Here we go indeed. Rubber Boots reacts. What? Rubber Boots reacts.
Welcome to our special Tuesday edition of the Rubber Boots podcast. There's Stoff, there's Lester, there's Puffy. I'm Jimmy, by the way. These are my friends from TSN. I do the introductions because I'm guessing we'll have curlers watching us. We're about to do our second curling crossover podcast.
They are hurrying hard to listen to our.
Seriously, if you keep no one is going to watch the podcast if you make those stupid ass puns.
Yeah.
BetSafe.net is our sponsor. BetSafe.net also happens to sponsor Jennifer Jones, the great curler who has just gotten back from Beijing hours ago. And the first thing she vowed to do as soon as she got home was to talk to us on the Rubber Boot podcast. And I think she's coming in now. There she is.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Bigger question, how are you? When did you get back from Beijing? How many hours ago?
We had the travel day from hell. So we had it was one of those flights where you board in Vancouver and then you get on the plane and then we're delayed leaving the gate and then they go to the runway and then there's a mechanical problem that they one of them.
Yeah.
So we sat on the plane for 4 hours before take off. I thought for sure it was going to be canceled, but I had a middle row in the back, like row 51.
Oh.
And what number flight is this?
It was only our second. So we flew direct from Beijing to Vancouver.
Okay.
Literally ran to catch this connection because we were 2 hours delayed leaving Beijing and then didn't have any food or anything. We're like, okay, it's okay. We'll eat on the plane. And then by the time they get to row 51 after a 4 hour delay, all the food's gone.
Oh no. That is.
And then you get there and it was like so many people at the airport and not a lot of bags came. So then there was a massive lineup to make your bag.
I feel so guilty that we're having you on right after this happened.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm supposed to stay awake right now anyway, so it's all it's all good. But my bag was fortunately in Vancouver. A lot of the athletes' bags were still in Beijing, so I don't know.
Oh, were there a lot of athletes on that plane?
Yeah, so the charter, it was a charter, so all the Canadian athletes were on the flight from Beijing to Vancouver, and then anybody that was going east was on that flight to Toronto. So whether you're going to Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Halifax. So there was
anybody tell us some good stories. Anybody like Charles Amelin getting a little bit out of hand,
No, we just wanted water. It was so hot on that plane. There was no air conditioning. Honestly, people had their shirts rolled. It was so
You should have pulled I'm Jennifer Jones. I need to be in first class.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
tried
what we
to
do.
upgrade.
That's what we do. I'll tell you a horrible story of we do get, when we fly to Europe, usually we get first class on a TSN assignment, but I was going to Prague to cover when Vancouver got the Olympics, so 2005 or something, and they bought a cheap flight, so I was in the back row, so I was having a mini prima donna fit, just a mini one, why am I not in first class? And then I was the same as you, I was back row, middle seat, and it was this lovely old Indian gentleman, and he was like about 70-year-old Indian gentleman, and he fell asleep on my shoulder. so for 6 hours I was just sitting here and I just didn't want to say anything. He was sleeping so comfortably, so he's like my honorary granddad. Fell asleep on my shoulder. Anyway, welcome home. We're so thankful that you did this, and so glad you're home finally to your fam. Have you got the chance to see the girls and everything yet?
Well, Brent actually surprised me. So we didn't arrive home till our flight landed around midnight. And then by the time the baggage debacle and getting through the long lineup of all these people, when you look over and you're like, oh, my bag's in time, and you look at the line and it's so long.
Yeah.
Debate, is that bag worth it?
Right.
But it was my Canada bag with all my Canada gear. So I stood in line and then I just assumed that the kids were no longer coming because we were well, now about 6 hours delayed. But then I walked out and then they ran after me. So Brent brought the kids to the airport. So I got to see
awesome.
them and they were so excited. They were
we
so
lost
excited.
You. Did you get emotional?
Yeah, sorry. I did. Yeah. I missed them. And our oldest was so into it and they were so supportive. Like it was always like, they never made me feel bad for being away. They were always just like, go get him, Mom. And it just makes me realize their life. They've just been around like us being away all the time and chasing our dreams. And now they just believe that that's what you should do. You have to support people that are chasing their dreams. So yeah, I missed them for sure. Like it was great to be home and they were so proud of me. They don't care about outcomes. They were just
and I wanted to say that to you before we got into like your Olympic experience. I watched the podcast you did with Colleen and Devin right after. And, you're such a Canadian in the sense that the first thing you want to say to everybody is sorry. Mm-hmm. And sorry to your kids and sorry to Canada for letting you down. And I'm not trying to be hokey here. I just don't think Canadians think that way. You have nothing to be sorry for at all. And you represented Canada so unbelievably. The way you were such a sport, hugging those Japanese curlers, which was such a great moment. But even beyond that, I think you need to know, and I hope you do know this, that Canadians, maybe there's a few idiots online or something that'll say, the Canadian curlers didn't do well enough. But the vast majority of Canadians, all they want from their Olympians is to go try their best. And if they win, great, as you've done before. And if they don't, be a great sport. And that's all we want or expect. So you should never have to say sorry to anyone. And you didn't let anybody down. So please, let's not hear that anymore. I don't want to hear sorry out of you anymore. Got it?
It's my favorite word, though.
Well, it's all of our favorite words.
Yeah, we do it a lot here in Canada.
I know. And you know what? It's funny because, like I especially for the people that have given up so much for us, I wanted them to kind of live the dream with us and, have something to show and see all the kids getting excited. But I was super proud of our team. Like I really felt like we embodied what the Olympic experience was all about and really like embraced everything about it and enjoyed it. And like, it wasn't just words. It was like, we thoroughly enjoyed the experience and it came down to draw the button, which is really aggravating. And it was hard to swallow and super frustrating. But even in that moment, like we held our heads high and just, it was out of our control. Like at that point, we couldn't do really anything about it. So
Stoff, just so you know, Stoff had a little story to tell you about your last game.
So I watched your match against Denmark, and I guess I did the math wrong in terms of the standings because I just assumed that if you guys won, you were in. So I thought it was a win-in situation. I was also watching ski cross, I think, at the same time it was on. So I didn't have the volume up on the curling. So as soon as you guys won, I'm like, perfect, we'll see them in the semis. And I was just beyond confused after when it didn't happen. It took me a little while to piece it all together. But in general, I just look at this tournament and you had so many teams in that middle that were logjammed at either 5-4 or 4-5. Is there a way, in your opinion, if the competition's getting this close, is there a better way to break it up? Would two groups that teams emerge of be better that way? Because it kind of seems like no matter what, 2 or 3 teams are going to be left out of that medal contention at the end of the round robin.
Yeah, I've never been a massive fan of pool play because it doesn't ever seem like the pools are equal, right? And so I like round robin. I truly do. We have time. There's lots of ice time. There's time to run tiebreakers. And I mean, it's easy for me to say now because obviously we didn't get a tiebreaker and we lost out, but I've been saying this for years. Like I don't think you should be removed from a competition because of a draw to the button, because so many things can happen. Like we played Denmark in our last game and their draw to the button picked. So like, if that mattered to them, they lost on debris, basically, is that comes down to. And so I don't know, there's plenty of time. Like there's lots of ice time to run tiebreakers, at least one round of tiebreakers. And so like, we were the only team with that record in team play that didn't advance.
Yeah.
And the two people in the gold medal game, the two teams in the gold medal game had the same record as us. And And so it's hard to like wrap your head around that. And then if Korea had won their last round robin game, both Japan and Great Britain would have been out. Us and Korea that had advanced. And we would all had the same record, but because it wouldn't have gone to draw the button, it would have gone to wins and losses, and us and Korea would have advanced.
And wasn't Korea not playing Japan in that last game, which makes
no.
Okay.
So
but it was
either for us, we needed Japan to win or Korea and Great Britain to do the same thing. So when Great Britain won, Korea was playing Sweden, and they were up early. I watched most of the games. I not fully focused on the Denmark game. I knew the ramifications of everything. So
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you think about it like that, like Korea had won and there was 4 teams with 4 losses. Japan and Great Britain would have been out because of who beat who. But because Korea lost, there was only 3 teams, and then it went to draw the button, and ours was lower than everybody else's, so we didn't get in. So it's just kind of a weird, like, it's the Olympic Games, and I don't know. But I mean, we knew going in, so I would never complain. Like, I'm just never, that's not
No,
I am, but it's just really hard to kind of wrap your head around.
can you put your finger, like, is curling a thing, like hockey, where you go in slumps or whatever, a goal scorer might not score for 10 games and then suddenly he feels it and score? Like, do you know, like, when you have it, when you don't have it, does that happen, or was this just the world's gotten so good at it at curling? Like, did you feel like you guys had a bad week, or that you didn't have your A game, so to speak, or is it just the fact that the rest of the world really has caught up in curling? It was a bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. It's an even playing field. Like going in, like most people were saying, 8 of the 10 teams had a realistic chance of winning gold. So that's like when the media and all the players are saying that, that's pretty that's saying like it's an even field. We actually felt pretty good. Like I had a couple of shots that I'd like back. I think my whole team would, but all in all, like we were feeling it. Like I really felt if we made the playoffs, we had a really good shot to be successful. And then it just meant to be. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like we had to beat China. If we had beat China, then we controlled our own destiny. Like, and unfortunately that was a game we should have won, and we didn't. And so that one's the hardest one for me, because if we had done that, then we go and beat Denmark, and we're not talking about the draw the button.
Jennifer,
Go ahead, Lester. That's what I was going to say.
Just wondering about the impact of COVID. Obviously, a very different situation over there. My understanding is there wasn't a lot of opportunity for you to go out and do stuff. Am I correct on that? And if so, how much do you think that impacted the tournament for you guys?
It was definitely hard. Like we were terrified to get COVID. I will tell you, like terrified. So we would do these rapid tests, and every day, like you'd wait to see if there's only 1 line or 2. Like it's not the best way to live. You're told at the time that if we had got COVID, our Olympic dreams, they thought would likely be over. The rules changed slightly so some people that got COVID in December were able to attend the games, but it was very stressful. And then being in Canada, like in Ontario, everything was shut down. So all the curling clubs were shut down. So then we had to find a curling club to stay open so we could train. We had to quarantine in advance. We didn't have one competitive game from the Olympic trials until the Olympic Games, which is not ideal. Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's hard to say it didn't have an impact. For sure. Like, I mean, there's no way it didn't, but I did feel like our training went really well. We felt ready heading in. I like the timing of it. I like winning and then just getting ready and going, and that adrenaline and the excitement of it all. We felt really good with training. And we practiced the draw to the button like 5 times a day. So it wasn't a lack of trying or effort. Like, as some people were saying, we need to practice it more. We couldn't possibly practice the draw to the button more. It didn't work out. But yeah, like the games were great, but there was no fans in the stands. And, it would definitely had a different Olympic feel for sure.
Right.
Were you able to have like an Olympic, like mingle with other athletes much, or was hotel rink, and that's it basically?
Well, we were all in the village. So like you would see the athletes in the village. So the village, I never knew what the village was. So it's basically just a bunch of tall apartment buildings. And so we had a 4-bedroom apartment, just our team. So you would see, we didn't mingle with any of the other countries. There was some COVID cases in other countries. So You just stayed within your little Team Canada bubble. But we would see some of the athletes. And the one great thing about the games is because there was no fans or limited fans, if there was a game or event or anything we wanted to go to, there was definitely tickets. So as an athlete, like you know what's strange is we went to the women's hockey game against the United States, like their round robin game. We were really excited. We hadn't played yet. And it was a really good game. So we show up there and there's no fans, but they still put the athletes, like we were up in the like rafters, like we couldn't possibly get any higher. Like that's where we were supposed to sit. We made it on TV. I can't even believe they could see us in the darkness up there. I've got a picture and the hockey players look about this big, like we were far. But we got to go to like short track and long track, figure skating. Like we could go to everything. And then it was easy to spot the Canadian contingent because there's no people. So that part was sad, but then also as an athlete, good, because sometimes it's impossible to get tickets to go and see events. So we had our pick of whatever event we really wanted to go to.
I needed to ask you about that. So I hosted hockey from here for the Olympics, and I was noticing for all the men's games, I'm not sure if I noticed for the women's games, but they had filled the seats, but it was clear that these people were being paid or just told to be there, that they had no knowledge, interest, or anything in hockey. They were like fake fans. And this is the Chinese government. I'm not kidding here. These people, it was every second seat, there was someone, but they did not react to anything unless they waved a flag when somebody put up a cheer sign. And when somebody won the gold medal, there was the same reaction as to like an opening face-off of like the first game of the tournament. So it was, and I was just wondering, and this is my conspiracy theory head going, like the Chinese government just told people to come in. This is your job to sit. So it looks like we have full stands or semi-full stands, but they had no idea what they were doing there or any interest in being there. Did that happen at curling?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they were paid. There were some fans. They would have had to be in the closed loop. So like, yeah. And they were only on, so if the arena is like an oval, they were only allowed on one side of the oval. And then
which was where the TV cameras were pointing,
yeah.
probably?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then we were allowed on the other side of the oval. And it was sad because they had these little flags they were waving, and it was like a curling flag with the Olympics. And I really wanted one. So I asked if I could have one, and they're like, no, it's only for them.
I think your theory
one.
is
I wanted
right.
to get one, but I couldn't even go and talk to those people.
Oh my God.
No flag for me.
Puffy, did you have a question?
Now, Jennifer, I saw some pictures from some of the athletes on what the food was like over there, and I heard something about it being the same meal for every meal. Was that your experience, or?
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of great things about the Olympics. The food wouldn't be at the top of my list, but you don't go to the Olympics for the cuisine, which is what I kept telling myself. Like, it's not like you're traveling to go there to have great meals. Most Olympic food is fairly bland because they're just trying to keep it basic for everybody. But I actually I struggled with the food. It upset my stomach. And so I basically ate the same thing for.
Well, I don't understand. Like, I maybe for curling, certainly curling is a super athletic sport now, but maybe not the same way like weightlifting, or if you're doing a 50K cross country skiing thing. And I thought if you're, a super finely tuned athlete who eats this, perfectly regimented balance of protein, whatever, all your years of training, and then you get to Beijing and you're stuck in a room for 2 weeks before your race, and all you get is this little same old, like, that would seriously affect elite athletes, would it not?
Yeah, no, food is a big thing. So they do send over, like, we had like protein drinks that we could have. And so we do send over, like, it goes by ship 6 months in advance so that there's stuff there. And there was variety. So it wasn't like you had the same thing every, it was just this, it was variety, but the same variety. So like there was a hot pot station. They had like a salad bar. They had like some meat stations. It's just really overcooked. It was.
It looked disgusting. Let's be honest. It looked disgusting.
And then they did in the village. We did have Pizza Hut and KFC. which I did not enjoy. Like I did not go to, but
No, I wouldn't have.
only had a chicken sandwich. So one chicken sandwich, and apparently it was like really dark chicken.
Like again,
That's what I want to know.
Chicken in China's a little.
I'm not going to do a rip on the IOC here again, but you would just, I think I have a vision growing up watching the Olympics that you go to an Olympic village, they should have all these chefs that are there designed to cook the exact foods that Olympians need. And instead it's a Pizza Hut and a KFC.
Well, that was that was outside the dining hall.
Oh, okay.
And also they had like, because it used to be McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's used to be at.
Yeah,
them,
so
right?
this is the first year that first Olympics, McDonald's was no longer
Yeah.
a partner. So yeah, they had this KFC, but they could only get like, and the Pizza Hut, I think there was like it wasn't Pizza Hut pizza though. It was pizza, but different. And you could get like cheese and then mystery pizza. I wasn't sure.
Oh, mystery pizza
That's
in
what
China.
you want.
The
What
same
was on
dark
there?
meat from the chicken.
So yeah, so I didn't get that either.
Yeah.
Night before the gold
Wow.
medal game, let's have some mystery pizza and just see
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens.
Like I brought with me some like bagels and and we had a freezer, so I just stuck them in the freezer and I brought some peanut butter and like we had like soup that we could make in the microwave and like you can make it's fine. Like I said, you don't go there for the cuisine, but yeah, like you think about it, it is it's an important factor of the Olympics because you need to eat. You need to eat to have your brain work, to be physically able to do your sport. So like the protein drinks were good and you could make do, you could find things like there was lots of rice and boiled eggs. So like you could figure, I was very excited to come home though to eat. And that was the most about our flight because we were delayed leaving Beijing. And then we ran to catch our connection. So we didn't have time to get food.
Terrible.
And then we waited on that plane for 4 hours and then all the food was gone.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Like,
What piece of food what did you crave more than anything else?
I really want a steak and then some good pizza. Like I can't wait. So we're having, we're having pizza tonight. We're having, I'm very excited. And then like
No mystery pizza.
really good breakfast, like with scrambled eggs and like
Yeah.
How do you think your steak?
medium rare.
Ooh,
Oh,
Very
solid.
girl.
I saw you talking to Mr. Bach, the president of the IOC, and I was trying to read your lips. And I thought you were saying about this mystery pizza, Mr. Bach. What the hell are you thinking?
What is on that pizza? I don't.
What did you ask him about? Really? What did you?
Well, actually, he was asking us a lot about the strategy, and unfortunately, it wasn't the best game in terms of like it was a blowout. So, Great Britain had just got a lot of points, and he's like, "So, what's Japan doing next?" I'm like, "Just trying to enjoy the moment." What to say,
like, roll up the mystery pizza.
yeah. So he was genuinely interested about the strategy of curling, which was great. Like he doesn't know a lot about curling. So it was literally just kind of a curling 101 and just asking questions. And what I found interesting is he really likes the mixed events because it's helping encourage the growth of sport in countries where maybe women aren't participating a lot in sport. And I love that. Like, I thought that was great to hear that I never really put that together, that's why they're having so many of these mixed events is to promote women in sport. And obviously I'm a little biased, and especially with two girls, like two daughters, I think it's great that they're trying to encourage that.
Before we let Jennifer go, guys, did you have anything else for her?
Better get some sleep.
Yeah. Well, what was funny is I ended up, so I don't know if you heard about the Bing Duen Duen, like the mascot.
Oh.
The big
The panda?
kind of
Yeah.
panda thingy, right?
Cutest mascot ever. We weren't allowed near it because of COVID. So we couldn't even go see the torch.
Was it from Wuhan?
Oh, that sucks. Come on.
I know. Like you always want that. But did you see the torch? It was like that it was environmentally friendly torch.
Mhm.
So
They probably show pictures of it, but I didn't know.
it was in the snowflake. It was really hard to see where the torch was. It's right in the middle of the snowflake.
Okay.
Anyway, so Bin Duen Duen was the mascot. Massive hit. So I've got two daughters and I want to bring back a souvenir. So I want a stuffy. Well, those suckers sold out like
No chance.
impossible to get. They're selling for like 500 American on eBay right now, these stuff.
Wow.
What?
Oh yeah. So
Wow.
so on our day off, we went and lined up for a bin dwen dwen. And so you had the lineups forever, like all these people, because you kind of know they release every morning. So you have to go and you have to get. So I ended up going through the lineup twice just so I could get to. I broke the rules. You're only allowed one, but it was a full success. I got both my daughters a bin.
Hey.
My husband
Nice.
still wants me to sell them on eBay, but I think
Exactly.
Well,
It's funny you say that because in Vancouver, there was 2 mascots in Vancouver. I can't remember. I think they gave us one each or something. CTV
There was
for
4 of them,
hosting.
I think.
Okay, well, either way, I had them, and they get thrown in. My kids were young back then, so they got thrown in the kids bin. And then like the dogs ate them, so I didn't even. And then like years later, 3 or 4 years ago, I saw online they were same thing, several $1,000s each. I'm like,
I want to convince him to keep them in the box.
yeah, that's what you got to do.
You
Good luck with that.
You should,
Just
Yes.
look at them from a distance.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, like I said, we're super proud of you. It was fun. This is our second now curling crossover podcast with betsafe.net. We've exposed an entire new audience. And now most of the people listening to us now are now curling people. So we're going to be doing mostly curling focused podcasts from here forward, guys, just so you're
Love
ready.
it.
Perfect.
I love it. And I'm happy to come on anytime. And honestly, like the Olympics was a thrill of a lifetime. And I wish every Canadian could experience it. So super grateful for the opportunity. And hopefully we
Are you going to do it? Are you going to stay with it?
Am I going to stay?
Yeah. Are you maybe try for 4 years from now?
We haven't chatted as a team. I still feel like I could get better. I know it's crazy.
That's great.
I'm not
Great.
20. So, but I still feel like I'm getting better and I love to play, but I'll sit down and figure it out and think about it. And it's also the, what do you do next kind of question. So I gotta,
Of course.
If you're ever open to coaching, the 4 of us, 4 years
our
from
next
now,
Olympic team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yes.
Can you imagine? Wow.
That'd
be great.
Yeah, I like it.
As long as we
Well,
get
we will-
now my mind's turning. Like now, how do I even decide?
Well, we will take you up. I think you offered last time. Sometime when life calms down, we'll come up and you can do like an hour and teach us how to curl, and we'll
Perfect.
like make
Or
a
I'll
little,
come to the city.
make a little podcast out of it.
I'll come to the city. Are you guys all in
Well,
Toronto?
No, I'm in Aurora.
I'm
Stops
in
in Bradford.
Yeah.
Oh, so actually we're kind of close.
Yeah, we're like
Fish for Ontario. When I first moved here, everybody here thinks an hour drive is like just around the corner. So like,
of course.
It is.
That's true.
Thank you so much. And like I said, we're all proud of you. I know you're a competitor, and you wanted to bring home a gold for Canada. But I think that was Canada's fine. You know what I mean? You already got that for us, and it was great watching you compete again.
I agree. And you know what? It's funny because we won the gold and obviously have great memories. From this one, I really feel like I left really understanding what the Olympics is all about, what sport
That's
is.
awesome.
Yeah. So it was kind of a different gold medal in a way. Like we really were true Olympians and embraced it. And that will stay with me forever. So there's lots of positives. I just wish I had like something to show everybody.
Yeah, I got you. Well, thanks a ton for joining us. And for all the curlers who just tuned in and watched us for the first time because of Jennifer, check out our regular episode on Thursday on the Rubber Boots podcast. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
How are ya? I got a question that I really wanna ask ya. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? I know it's a little strange, but my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. And I know that you're on TV but you